Okay, welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at Msfvenom, and we're going to do a step-by-step lab for installing an interpreter shell on a Server 2012 machine. So you'll notice first thing is that I have a Server 2012 machine loaded, and I have a Kali machine loaded. Let's go ahead and get logged into our Kali. Let's go ahead and start a brand new Kali terminal. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be doing Msfvenom, Msfvenom, F-E-E-N-O-M, and let's do a -H so that we can get all of the options for this. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to maximize my screen so we get a little bit better view. But here are all the different options for our Msfvenom. So before we get too much further, we have to do a few things. We need to see, first of all, what is our IP address. So if config, our IP address is 192.168.10.50. And next, we're going to be typing in a specific set of commands. So Msfvenom, we're going to be doing -P, and we're going to be doing a Windows exploit. -P Windows. We're doing a meta-interpreter shell. We're specifically doing reverse _TCP. And then we can go with the rest of it, so we can use a specific item. Okay, I cheated a little bit, but Msfvenom, and this is what we're doing. We're going to be doing a meta-interpret shell, reverse TCP. We are using the x86 GANAI payload, and that's meaning it's going to be using that as an encoder. We're using a -I space F flag that's telling Msfvenom to run it 5 times, just in case one of the times goes and it fails. We're doing the -FEXC because we're going to encode our payload as a standard Windows executable. We will be doing a listening host of our Kali machine and the appropriate port that we're doing the listening on. And the output will be done to our desktop, and we're calling our output important_update.exe. And it does take a second, but it should generate our payload. Minimize, and there is our payload. The next thing we have to do is we need to set up our listener before we migrate this file to our Windows machine. Okay, so once we do that, we have to start our listener, and we do that by starting our Metasploit console. And once our Metasploit console is open, we need to have it start listening for a specific exploit. Because we created the exploit at the beginning, but we have to tell Metasploit to be listening for it. That way, once our victim runs our executable, then we can actually see our connection. So to do that, we're going to use a exploit handler. So use exploit. It's a multi-handler. And if we just do that, and we do a show options, you'll see we don't have a lot of options. So once we do that, we have to set a specific payload. So we do that by set payload. It's a Windows payload. It is a interpreter shell. It is reverse TCP. And once we have the actual options set, we need to actually look at the appropriate options. That way we can make sure that they are listening and on the correct address and port. So you'll notice our L host and our listening port are not set correctly. So we will go set L host. We're setting this to our Kali machine. And we need to set L port, our listening port, to whatever we set it in our exploit, which we happen to use port 8080. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and minimize our terminal. So now we have to get our update exe to our server. So on our beginning labs, we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to put a flash drive in our Kali machine. And we're going to make sure it's formatted, FAT, and that was done from our previous update. So I'm going to go ahead and move my new one to my flash drive. You'll see it. I'm going to go ahead and eject it from my machine. And because we're using VMware Workstation, I'm actually going to disconnect it from my Kali. And I'm going to connect it to my Server 2012 machine. And in a second or two, it should populate. Alright, there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. And there is my important update file. So before we run it, I do want to point something out. On my server machine, I do have a camera. So I do have a Logitech HD Pro Webcam C920 camera, and it is hooked up. And just for verification, let's go ahead and make sure it is functioning. So that is my camera. So it does have video. So you've seen the camera. So like a normal person, I may actually run this executable. In a later lab, we're looking at how to actually embed this file into like a document, but right now we're not quite there yet. So I double clicked on it. It did ask for administrative privileges and I gave it to it. So now what? Let's hop back over to our Kali. Let's go back to our terminal. And if we start our exploit, it will start listening. But because we ran it before we started the exploit, nothing happened. So now it's just in a listening state. Let's hop back over to our server. Let's run it back to Kali, and you'll notice that Shells is now open. So now that we have it and it's functioning, what can we do? So let's go ahead and type the question mark. And here are all the commands that we get to do. We can do do a lot more than people realize. But since I pointed out the camera, notice we have webcam commands. So let's go ahead and let's start by can we see the webcam? So webcam list. We do see that my camera is in the list. Can we webcam chat? One of the problems is our webcam is not always the best. Like we could do a webcam snap. Snap. And it doesn't actually start our webcam. So that's one thing that I have noticed. So then make sure that we've actually gained access. Obviously we can see the camera, but just in case you want to verify sysinfo. That will give us the computer name, the operating system, its domain, the users that are logged in, all of that good stuff. If you're still not convinced that we are logged in on the appropriate machine, we could do get UID, that will be the user, or we could get UID. Oh, as same one twice. I meant get PID. You could also do get SID, system ID. That way we can verify that we're getting that appropriate SID. And that's actually it. Now we have a shell that's open, and we can use this shell to exploit it. However, if the server restarts, then our connection is severed. And so that's going to lead us into labs later down the line. Alright, that's it. Thank you.